Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Independent Dollar. As a previous lender, I analyze the credit reports of many customers on a daily basis. So I know that one of the biggest challenges you can have is moving forward after bad credit. It can take time and dedication to get your credit history back to a place where banks are not only willing to approve you, but also lend you money at their preferred rates. Now, of course, one of the ways to improve your credit score is to simply just make your payments on time. But sometimes it isn't always that simple, especially if you can't get approved for new credit in order to rebuild it. So what can you do to improve your credit history if you have bad credit then? Today, I'm going to show you 3 realistic ways to improve your credit even if you're not able to get approved for a loan right now. But first, you need to understand how banks evaluate your credit report and their system to approve someone, so you not only understand why my 3 suggestions will work for you, but so you can negotiate with your bank if you need to turn a declined application into an approved application. Banks use a system called the 5 C's of credit when reviewing your application. The 5 C's of credit are character, capacity, capital, collateral, and credit. Credit is of course your credit history, and your bank will usually focus on these 4 main areas when they're looking at your credit bureau. Do you make your payments on time? Were any of your accounts sent to collections? Are any of your accounts over their credit limit? And how often and for what reason are you applying for credit either at your bank or elsewhere? If you have bad credit but it's because of an isolated incident, then banks are usually willing to look past this if you can help them understand why. For example, you have one account on your credit history that was sent to collections. You made the payment on time, but to the wrong account by mistake. Once you've noticed, you brought the account into good standing right away. Or, you've always made your payments on time, but you lost your job and in between jobs, you weren't able to keep a loan up to date. Life happens, but you've since brought the account into good standing and have continued to make payments on all of your accounts since then. Helping them understand why you've missed payments will help them look past bad credit and help you get approved. Collateral is when you back the loan you're applying for with an asset, like a mortgage that is backed by a home that you're purchasing. Collateral always adds strength to an application because it lowers the risk for the bank. If you aren't strong in all the 5 C's, adding collateral can sometimes be enough to get your application approved. This normally works for someone who either doesn't have credit history or is in the middle of rebuilding their credit. Collateral can be anything from a home, to a car, to the cash sitting in your bank account. Capacity refers to your ability to afford the monthly payments of your loan. This is one of the 5 C's that is almost impossible to work around. If you don't have a monthly income to support the payments, your application is usually denied. However, if your net worth is high enough and you can show them that you can easily and quickly liquidate assets to afford the payments, like investments for example, they may be willing to approve your application on those terms. Capital has to do with your net worth and your ability to put money down, and if so, how much. Similar to when purchasing a house or a car, the larger your down payment, the more the bank is likely to approve your application, because again, it's going to lower the risk for the bank. You now have some skin in the game as well, not just them. And finally, which might be the most important, is character, and that's whether or not the bank believes that you have the intention of repaying your loan and on time. If you have a history of repaying your debt on time, you have consistent savings practices, and you have a good relationship with your banker, they're much more likely to approve your application. This is why it can be easier sometimes to get approved for a loan at your own bank versus a bank where you'd be a brand new customer and they just don't know you. This is also why you need to build a good relationship with someone at your bank, because there is always someone there who's in a position to overturn a declined application. Maybe you really did make a payment to a wrong account. Maybe you really did lose your job for a period of time, but if they don't know you, they are less likely to believe your story. Keep in mind that banks are in the business of making money, so if they think you're able and willing to repay a loan, they want to give it to you. But what can you do if you either don't have enough income to get approved, your credit history is so bad that you always get declined, or you don't have a good relationship with someone at your bank? Here are 3 ways you can rebuild your credit even with the worst credit score. First up, collateral credit cards. If you have access to cash, apply for a secured credit card. With secured credit cards, the bank puts a hold on money in your bank account to cover the limit on the card. If the limit on the credit card is $500, your bank will hold between $500 and $600 in your bank account. You won't be able to access that money that's on hold until the bank releases the hold. The reason this works is because it eliminates the risk to the bank. If you don't repay the credit card, they simply cancel the card and keep the money that's on hold. But what if you have a bad relationship with the credit card company that your bank uses? Then what do you do? Apply for a secured overdraft. You can ask your bank to set up a cash-backed overdraft anytime. Many people are not aware that overdraft set up on a bank account does in fact report on your credit bureau. With a cash-backed overdraft, your bank does the exact same thing as the credit card. They put a hold on money in your bank account to cover the limit of the overdraft, which will then start reporting on your credit bureau so you can start rebuilding your credit. If your credit is in a really difficult position and neither of these work for you, start saving money. Set up either an investment account like a tax-free savings account or even just a normal savings account where every single week or pay, you make an ongoing deposit into the account that you do not spend. The dollar amount here is not important. What's important is the consistent deposit into the account because it shows that you have a plan in place to rebuild your financial health, and it'll help improve the character piece of your application next time. If they're still not willing to approve you for credit, the account can now be repurposed as your emergency account until they are. So you can avoid missing any payments on any other things if something unexpected happens. Or if they are now willing to approve you but they require cashback security, you can then use the amount that you've saved to get your application approved. Life happens and we sometimes miss payments for reasons that are truly beyond our control. If you're looking for ways to reduce your expenses and boost your savings even on a tight budget, make sure you check out our 8 quick tip video to help you get there. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you back here next week.